The bright lights of the Family Feud stage flickered against the dark backdrop, casting sharp shadows on the floor. The energetic audience clapped and cheered, eagerly waiting for the next segment to begin. Steve Harvey, as usual, stood at the front of the stage with his signature grin, charming his way through the audience, getting everyone excited for the next round of questions. But this time, there was something different in the air, a special kind of tension. A quiet hum of anticipation that no one could ignore. Today, it wasn't just another contestant walking up to that podium for a chance to win. Today, it wasn't about the typical game of Family Feud at all. This was something real, something raw, something that felt far more serious than the usual banter. The camera zoomed in on Steve's face as he caught a glimpse of the young woman waiting backstage, her face pale but resolute. Her name was Jane, and she wasn't here for the game. She wasn't even here for fun. She was here to ask Steve Harvey for something more than just a game show answer. She was here to share her story, her complicated, heartbreaking story. All right, y'all know what time it is. Steve's voice boomed across the stage, and the audience fell silent. Now, we've got a special guest today. She's come to the Family Feud stage not for the game, but for some real talk. She's got a situation that she needs to work through, and she's looking for some advice from your man, Steve. Let's give a big round of applause for Jane, y'all. The audience clapped as Jane stepped forward, her hands shaking as she clutched the microphone. She was a 28-year-old woman, standing tall and poised in front of a crowd of strangers, yet she felt small, fragile, like her world was crumbling. Her heart was beating fast, and she could feel the heat rising in her cheeks. But she walked with determination. She had no idea what was about to unfold, but she knew one thing for sure. She needed to get this off her chest. She needed to share what she had been holding inside for so long. Steve Harvey looked at her with a gentle yet knowing expression. He could tell she was nervous, but there was something more behind her eyes. Something deeper. Come on, baby girl, take your time. We're here for you. What's on your mind? Steve said, offering her a warm, reassuring smile. Jane cleared her throat and tried to steady her voice. Thank you, Steve, she began, her words shaky but growing stronger with each passing second. I never thought I'd be standing here. I never thought I'd have to share something like this with all of you, but I don't know where else to go. I don't know who else to turn to. She paused, glancing at the audience before meeting Steve's eyes. I guess I should start by telling you about Thomas. He's my neighbor. He's 57 years old. And yeah, that's a big age gap. But when you're in a small neighborhood, sometimes you end up getting closer to people than you expect. Thomas and I, we had a bond. We became friends. We'd talk every day, share meals together, and honestly, he felt like family to me. Steve nodded, his expression softening. He could tell this wasn't just some casual acquaintance. This was deeper than that. Jane continued, her voice steadying as she spoke. For months, he was there for me in ways I never thought I'd need. He sponsored my business, helped me with this program I was running for kids, gave me advice, let me drive his brand new truck. He did all these things that made me feel like I could trust him, like he was someone who genuinely cared. And you know, in the back of my mind, I knew the age difference was big, but I thought we could make it work. He wasn't just my neighbor. He was someone who was always there when I needed him. And then one day, I found out I was pregnant. The silence in the studio grew heavy, and Steve could feel the weight of her words. Wait a minute, he interrupted, his voice serious but not unkind. Hold on, you're 28 and you're pregnant by a 57-year-old man? Your neighbor? Jane nodded, her eyes lowering as she recalled the moment she had found out. Yeah, Steve. I didn't plan for this to happen. It was a surprise. I took the pregnancy test and it came back positive. I went to him, showed him the test, and I didn't know what kind of reaction to expect. But when I showed him, he just took it from me and walked away. He didn't say a word. He just went to bed. Steve's brow furrowed as he processed what she said. The crowd reacted with shock, but Jane was too focused on Steve's face to notice the murmurs around her. Wait a second, Steve said, shaking his head in disbelief. So you told him? You showed him the test and he just took it and went to bed? He didn't say anything? No congratulations, no concern, no nothing. Jane's eyes welled up with tears, but she quickly blinked them away. Yeah, that's what happened. It hurt, Steve. I didn't know what to think. We had been so close, and yet he just walked away. I kept asking him what we were going to do, but he just told me he needed time to process it. But I felt like he wasn't even processing. I mean, he's 57, he's been through life. What's there to process, right? Steve leaned in, his face softening as he recognized the confusion and heartbreak in Jane's voice. I hear you, baby. That's a tough situation. But hold on, there's more to this, isn't there? What happened next? Jane let out a long breath, her chest tightening as she continued. Yeah, there's more. I found out that Thomas wasn't just confused about being a father again. No, there was more to it. He had been lying to me this whole time. He told me he wasn't serious about his girlfriend, but it turns out she's his cousin, and they've been together all along. All the things he told me were lies, and I was living in this fantasy, believing him, trusting him. But the truth hit me all at once, and it broke me. The audience gasped collectively, and Steve's eyes widened with shock. He didn't know what to say, but he could feel the pain in Jane's words, and he knew she needed him now more than ever. So now, Jane, Steve said, his voice gentle but firm. You're pregnant. You've just found out the man you trusted has been lying to you this whole time, and now you're wondering what comes next. You're stuck, right? Jane nodded, wiping a stray tear from her cheek. Yeah, I don't know what to do, Steve. All I want is for him to sign the birth certificate. That's it. I don't want him to be a full-time dad. I don't even expect him to be there for me or the baby. But I want my child to have his last name. I don't want my baby to grow up not knowing who their father is. But he refuses. He says he's too old. He says he needs more time. But I'm done waiting. I don't know if I should just move on and do it on my own or keep pushing him to be involved. The audience was silent now, their eyes glued to the unfolding story. Steve Harvey, for all his humor and bravado, now looked more like a concerned father than a game show host. He was absorbing her words, feeling the gravity of her situation. Jane, Steve said quietly, his voice carrying the weight of the moment. You're not crazy for wanting what you want. You're asking for something that seems simple, but I get it. I understand why it means so much to you. But here's the thing. You can't make somebody be something they don't want to be. You can't force him to step up if he's not ready. But you don't need him to validate you or your child. What you have right now is the power to make your own choices. You are enough, Jane. You've already done the hardest part by carrying this child, and now you just have to carry the love for that baby too. Jane's eyes shimmered with unshed tears, and a slow, grateful smile spread across her face. The audience, too, seemed to hold their breath, caught in the intensity of Steve's words. "Look, baby girl," Steve continued, his voice thick with emotion. "Life doesn't give us perfect situations. Sometimes we don't get the fairy tale ending. But you've got the power. You've got everything you need inside of you. Don't let this man's choices dictate yours. You're going to be an amazing mom. And your child, whether he signs that birth certificate or not, is going to know that you loved them enough to do it all on your own." Jane nodded, the weight of his words lifting something heavy from her chest. She knew what she had to do. She knew she couldn't force Thomas to be the father she wanted him to be. But she could make sure her child knew the truth, that they were loved. "Thank you, Steve," she whispered, her voice breaking as the tears finally came. "You got this, Jane," Steve said with a smile. "You don't need anyone else to complete your family. You're already whole. Take care of yourself and take care of that baby." The audience erupted into applause, and Jane felt a wave of relief wash over her. For the first time in months, she felt like she could breathe again. And as the camera faded out, she realized that this wasn't just a story shared on a game show. This was the beginning of her new life.